District 2, Mabinay, Negros Oriental. I would like to share the challenges that we encountered during the pandemic from our school, national, and global. During pandemic, there were many challenges that we encountered in our school, not only in our school, but in all other different agencies. First, the learners had experienced difficulties in answering their modules because they will have a hard time to understand their lessons, and their parents will not be able to give them correct information when they need help to do their module. As a school head, I had experienced a lot of challenges that I went through in budgeting because there are many requirements that we must provide to our learners, teachers, parents, and other stakeholders for them to safety coming to school from any virus. Based on what we went through during the pandemic, the schools are having difficulty in the reproductions of their modules to distribute to the learners because the school budget is not enough for the commodities for the modules reproduction. Supplies are becoming more expensive, such as printer, ink, bond paper, and other supplies needed for the reproduction. Despite of all challenges, we overcome the problem because we prioritize the things that we important and ask for help from our friends so that we can provide all the needs of our. In global, the whole world has experienced difficulties, especially in technology, and it is also the problem we have encountered in our school when we went to need to communicate with the parents of our student, because some parents do not have internet access or cell phone in their homes. The teachers who report to school need to ride a habal-habal or a motorcycle because of our school located in a far-flung barangay. It is also give us a challenge to us reporting to school because of the ordinance issued that the back rider is not allowed. Despite of all challenges we encountered during the pandemic, as a teacher in charge of our school, I constantly explained to the parents, teachers, and other stakeholders that everyone should help each other in teaching their child so that no children left behind, and their children's dreams will continue despite of the trials in life. That's all, and have a good day.
Good day, teammates. Allow me to share my thoughts about the video. The video that I have watched talk about the change of educational landscape. It was stretched out that there are factors that triggers the change of educational landscape. And I see as well that these factors also has a great impact in our school, such as emerging technology, industrial evolution, and social and emotional interaction of people. In changing the educational landscape, we need to consider the context of a certain locality. Nowadays, digital learning captures the interest of our learners. Traditional way of learning is not effective anymore. As observed, our children learn better with the aid of technology, and learning is more meaningful when children exposed outside the classroom. I made mention that the change in educational landscape would depend on the kind of locality that we are in. Several countries are now adopting artificial intelligence, or the so-called 4.0, where people need to have innovative skills and creativity. This is brought by industrial evolution. Even the way people interact with each other contributed in the change of educational landscape. I will relate this in our school. with utmost desire to provide accessible and quality education to our learners, we assess the need and suitability of learning delivery platforms, learning strategies, and pedagogical skills that are suited to our learners. In order to recover the educational scheme, we need to shift from the usual method and introduce digital learning because we believe that learning gaps will be addressed if we cater the needs and interests of our learners. As a school head, we should know where we are heading to. We should have directions, and let us be sensitive to our learners, especially on their needs and their interests. And so that for us to be easy to adjust on our instructions and eventually achieve the vision of the department. I will relate this in our school. With the utmost desire to provide accessible and quality education to our learners, we assess the need and suitability of learning delivery platforms, learning strategies, and pedagogical skills that are suited to our learners. In order to recover the educational scheme, we need to shift from the usual method and introduce the digital learning because we believe that learning gaps will be addressed by providing instructions that caters the needs and interests of our learners. As a school head, we should know where we are heading to. We should have directions, and let us be sensitive to our learners so that we can adjust our instruction and eventually achieve the vision of the department.
One of the factors that affect the school during the pandemic is the lack of the learning facilitators at home or the availability of the learning facilitators at home. The setup of education via distance learning modality, parents were the partners of teachers in delivery of the instruction. However, there was not enough support from the parents due to the educational status to teach their children. Parents were not ready to adapt to the new situation and handle the new learning environment. Parents confront difficulties in overcoming the circumstances brought by the pandemic. And one of the most challenging aspects is the parents' lack of skill and expertise regarding how to teach their children. So it appears to be one of the impediments to educational accomplishment in the event of the pandemic.
Good morning and good day to all. I am Lantiaum of Himalalud National High School, Himalalud, Negros Oriental, Division of Negros Oriental. During COVID-19, our school experienced challenges, both external factors locally, national, and globally. With the new normal setting, Himalalud National High School Senior High School Department, where the school head has to act for the learners' learning modality. Modules shall be given to learners through their vaccinated parents. Only during Mondays, the parents collected the modules and returned their modules every Friday. However, the problem of printing of modules is faced by the teachers and school head due to limited printer, unlimited budget for the printer, ink, and band papers. More so, the LRMDS of the Division Office had problems with the internet connection. So the school head has to collect help to the external and internal stakeholders that will work hand in hand to print the instructional materials for the learners. As the saying for the DepEd, no learners will not left behind. Meanwhile, some of the senior high school best practice is to visit the home of learners whose modules are end return and to provide the learners encouragement to learners without face-to-face lessons. With the national concern, the virtual meeting for the school head and teachers is also a problem, especially for the internet connection. The school administration had to solicit help from the external stakeholders for the assistance. Globally, the pandemic affects the learners and the faculty and staff. The technology influenced so much for learners with online modality with strong internet connection, while little learning is only given to learners with modular learning without internet connection and learners without gadget. Thus, in spite of the pandemic, the school head and the teachers, faculty, and staff has to solicit and act for the learning delivery. Even the learners cuts up a little learning during this time. But as the saying goes, no learners shall not left behind.